In this Recycled BS with Bob Schmidt, I had the chance to talk with Barbara Ann from the book 14,000 Things to Be Happy About. You know, we all know people that are Debbie Downers, people that find fault in everything. You know, this would be a great book to give to one of those people or have them at least read some of the passages. There's great things in here, and it's amazing how many easy things it is to find to be grateful about or happy about, like things working as they should, flipping on a light switch, a good nap, as I mentioned later on in the day, a hammock. There's so many things to be thankful for. What are you thankful for?
Barbara, I picked up this book. I just a little smiley face on the spine made me smile. And then I started paging through your book. I'm like, there are so many things to be thankful for.
Yep, there is. It's just about paying attention, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, putting it as simple as that, you're absolutely right. I think too many times we don't stop to smell the roses. We don't stop to see, the flag whiff in the wind. We don't see the leaf just gently falling from a tree.
Yeah, we're not stopping much at all. We're actually just rushing and, driving on to the next attainment, the next thing we want to buy, the next thing we want to accomplish at work. And this is really the reason I started this list almost 50 years ago when I was in 6th grade was because if you write something down, even, if it's 2 words, you're kind of savoring the moment. And you can go back and savor it again. And it's happiness, however, this is a hard word to define, happiness.
Oh, yeah.
It's right in your head. It's nowhere else. It's absolutely not out there. It's right in your head. So if you have words like this is how I used it. If I have these words and I can keep looking at them, keep writing them down, they make my brain light up, and I'm happy.
I got to ask you, who's Kyle and who's Kerr?
Kyle and Kerr are my sons.
Okay.
They're in chronological order there.
So I'm sure that they're probably, if it weren't for them, it would be 13,998 things to be happy about, right?
Well, here's the funny thing. On my website, which is thingstobehappyabout.com, I actually have my database, and it's got 149,000 things.
149,000 things to be happy about?
Yeah. Now,
wait, stop for a second here. Are you ever just pissed off? You ever just say, you know what, I'm mad, I'm not going to be happy today. Today is my day to just sit and pout. Oh,
well, it's pretty funny when my husband hears people say to me, oh, you must be like the happiest person in the whole world. And he's shaking his head. No. Because everybody feels that way.
Yeah.
You're one person among 7 billion, and it's pretty intense, the stuff that we're hit with on a daily basis. And we have a very little control over that. I mean, you can kind of, section yourself off in a little room and not look at the internet, but you're still going to be affected. It's a crazy world, and I try to explain how beautiful it is both to be a human being and be able to communicate like this and do the stuff that we do where we can remember our past and plan for our future a little bit, but we get caught up in those 2 parts and don't stay in the moment. So then there's a cat, and a cat isn't thinking about what happened yesterday,
Unless it was Grumpy Cat.
I don't even think Grumpy Cat can manage that. And it's not planning what it's going to do tomorrow. It is being right in the moment. Even if it's sleeping, it's right in the moment. So, I think we should take note of all the rest of the animal world that lives like that. I mean, yes, there's a lot of human beings. So there's a lot more animals and insects than there are human beings, and they're living like that. Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we just pay attention and savor some stuff instead of pushing forward as much as we do?
So with your book of positivity here, your 14,000 things to be happy about, are any of them repeats?
Oh gosh, you don't know how hard it is to edit this thing after 25 years.
That's why I'm asking, because I'm thinking, okay, in my everyday, if I were to be happy of things, I'd be happy for my family, I'd be happy for my friends.
Repeat.
I'd be happy because I take a nap every single day, Barbara Ann. Every day I take a nap. I am so happy and grateful for that nap every day.
Gosh.
Every day, and then when I get out,
one of the best things in the world.
Oh, it is, and that would be like 1,000 of my happy things right there.
Well, of course, in my database, I would have to say, at 449,000 things, there are things that are variations on a theme. But with the book itself, I did kind of discover in editing it this time, there really is, I think you could be pretty close to right in saying there's about 14,000 things, and then there's variations on that. I tried to make this as timely but as timeless as I could. That's hard. But I also, I'm looking out from this one point of view, and I'm trying to make it something for a lot of people. But really what this book says is make your own list. I love to see when people make their own list.
I just told you mine. Family, job, nap. Nap will probably be at the top of the list, honestly.
Well, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being easily pleased. There's nothing wrong with that.
That is true. I got to ask. I went to the back of the book. The last pages, page 609. It says baked potato jackets. What is a baked potato jacket?
It's the brown part that nobody eats.
Oh, the skin! I love the skin.
And it has all the vitamins.
The skin is the skin is the best part.
Yeah.
I actually, when I do a baked potato, I just eat it all as, I cut it in half, put a little bit of butter, a little bit of salt and pepper, and then just eat the whole thing.
Yep.
And I don't, sour cream, bleh. Chives are good, but sour cream, not so cool. Ugh, yuck. So, what is the silliest thing in your list?
It used to be, I took it out for this edition, it used to be brake fluid, and I got asked about it all the time. People say, brake fluid? What's to be happy about that? And I said, well, I don't know. I guess I'm happy when it's in my car.
Hey, it stops you. I'm ecstatic about brake fluid.
That's an excellent question. What is the silliest thing? I think that would be kind of personal, that each person would pick out the silliest thing in here. But I try, you can be really anal about it. I don't know if that's a good word to use.
I don't know. Can we say anal on the radio?
Not my favorite word. But it can be really, trying to please everybody in a book like this, but you can't. No. So I'm sure people are going to see things and they'll go, "Oh, that's not something to be happy about." But
it's all personal. It boils down to what makes you happy.
It's kind of still my list.
Yeah. Well,
I felt that way this time editing it. I was trying so hard. I would try not to have the colored yellow on the same 2-page spread. Boy, is that tough. If you love yellow and you've written a book like this, yellow's going to be popping up all over the place.
Well, diamond like stars, a buzz of a bumblebee, those are two yellow things. Lemon cream.
There's a lot of food in here because, sometimes it's really nice to read about food instead of eating it all.
Well, it's both. It's good both. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's good both.
Well, look, you're eating healthy potato skins, so you're good.
Well, yeah, but then there's everything else that goes with the butter, the ice cream for dessert afterwards. The stuff that you're just not supposed to have. So I see that you have a copyright 1990, 2007, and 2014. Has it always been 14,000 things? So in 2009, or I'm sorry, 1990, was it 14,000? Has it changed a lot in the different printings?
It did not change a lot in 2007. I was really told to just change, maybe 1,000 entries, just kind of look through and make things, a little better if I could. This time, I edited it for well over 6 months, over and over again, just trying to make it. I think the entries are longer now because they're a little more thoughtful, so there's not a lot of one-word entries or two-word entries, because I really do, I won't live forever, but I really do want this to be something that people can share with their families and friends, and it's a conversation starter.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? I can just picture, I know a couple people that I want to give it to just because they bitch about everything. You know what I mean?
And you say, I dare you not to be happy after you look a few pages of this.
Oh, yeah.
You got to find something that you like here.
Well, I clicked it open, and I see a 20-hour work week. That would make me really happy.
Only if you have some interesting hobbies.
growing onions. Here's one that can be taken two ways. The Milky Way. It could be the candy bar, or it could be the Milky Way. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of just great things in here. Do you have a favorite thing?
Oh, I get asked that a lot. I guess my first entry was blueberry muffins.
That was when you were. That's when you were in 6th grade. Blueberry muffins was your first.
You know what the really funny story is? In the very first book, that entry was not in.
Really?
Because computers were young back then. It was 1989, and we sorted it to make sure I hadn't repeated myself, and then we used a computer program to scramble it up. Mm-hmm. And when this happened, I had 21,000 things. So about 7,000 had to get cut out to make the book the size that Peter Workman wanted it. Uh-huh. And Blueberry Muffins got cut out, and I didn't know because, computers were not, it wasn't quite as easy to search and stuff way back then.
So now I'm guessing it's in it. Now is it the whole muffin, or is it just the blueberry muffin top?
Well, that's a funny thing. Now just saying that makes me think of a funny story from my past when I made blueberry muffins for my mother and sister who were going to visit me. And I went out for a few minutes to get something else, and my cat ate the top off every blueberry muffin in the tray.
It wasn't Grumpy Cat then, it was Grumpy Barbara Ann.
Oh.
14.
I'm sure I would have eaten the rest of the blueberry muffins, but I don't think my mother and sister were too happy eating what the cat had taken part of.
Probably not. 25th anniversary edition, 14,000 things to be happy about. Where can we get your book, Barbara Ann?
Definitely most bookstores should have it, and Amazon. And on my website, you can click through to Amazon and stuff like that.
What's the website?
thingstobehappyabout.com.
Thanks so much for listening to the BS with Bob podcast. Basically, it's just me pulling up the metaphorical bar stool and chatting with everyone from entertainers to educators to business owners to marketing gurus. People who've done cool things, survived weird stuff, and have a good story to tell. Please like, subscribe, and share the podcast.